Hello there. Um, I am back with another fic. Well, another chapter of this fic. And, bro, I was gonna do some last week, but that went away. I I'm hyper right now, but I'm also tired. So we'll see how this goes. Because I am gonna try to get this chapter done, and another chapter for another fic done. So, yeah, let's do it. Let's try and do this. Mm, sorry, I was looking at something. What chapter am I on? Alright. This is Tana Bar by Atia Blackthorn. Chapter 28. Take My Hand. Summary. Some thoughts are had and a dancing partner appears. When there was no sign that Toga would move and Midoriya could not move, Nagane somehow picked up the two of them and put them on the couch. No one seemed surprised by the display of strength. Toga refused to let go of Izuku, but he seemed completely fine with Toga, declaring that she would not leave him. The others smiled at how Toga seemed to make herself comfortable in the boy's arms, and how Midoriya looked content with her there. No discomfort could be seen on his face, and his expression was better than the tears they seemed. Midoriya had stopped crying, and Kirigiri gave him a handkerchief to wipe his face. Midoriya actually chuckled before thanking Kirigiri, but that remained, but there remained Midoriya and Toga. The girl's head was tucked underneath his chin. At some point, Toga fell asleep, and Midoriya made no move to remove her off of him, and he eventually fell asleep as well. When the others realized that the two youngest patrons of the bar were asleep, none of them dared to move them or disturb them, especially with Toga's reflex of stabbing someone, which was not at all to be deterred by the fact that Midoriya still had his arm around her. Also, they just wanted to let them rest. While the two were sleeping, the others moved to the other side of the bar to talk. Shigaraki barely slid into the side of the booth before questions were being asked. Shigaraki, did you know about this? Spinner asked from the other side, something that looked like anger on his face. Had no fucking clue, Shigaraki said, as Sako took a seat next to him. It seemed the young man didn't exactly mean to reveal such information when Jian asked him about the shoes. How the fuck was I supposed to know about what the shoes meant. Twice hissed at Sacco. Sacco brought his hands up to show that he meant no offense. Twice grumbled at a spot leaning on the booth seat that Spinner and Magnate was sitting on. Dobby came up next to Twice. With we'll all deal with shit later. But what the fuck? But what the fuck? He's dealt with all of that and still wanted to be a hero and still wants to be a hero? Dobby asked in disbelief. That's a tragic that's a whole tragic back story material if I ever seen one. And Dobby laughed. I fucking have one. Cherokee felt the need to scratch his neck, but refrained. It was frustrating. The kid was quirkless for years, and when he did get a quirk, it broke his bones. But still Midoriya acted like it was nothing. Cherokee wondered if the boy would ever get a fucking break. Never had All For One ever been feeling the way he did towards the user of One For All. Midoriya seemed to be full of surprises. The latest, he was the boy he was the boy who was messing it up. The latest one was the boy was quirkless. All Might had chosen a quirkless boy as his successor. The boy had no doubt been hurt countless times by society, by the people he apparently wants to protect. When he was older, he wanted to protect when he was older as a hero. By all means, that child should be cold, angry, ready to hurt others since it was so easy for others to hurt him. Sorry. What, Dan? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Except Midoriya was not like that. That's the part that All For One feeling something short of awe. All For One questioned All Might's discussion of choosing a boy to be the new holder. The boy that found comfort in villains. A boy who had so much potential to be an amazing villain. His mind was a weapon in itself already. And All For One was sure if it that if it used, heroes would drop like flies. Of course, that would not happen. All For One, All For One already knew that this boy was currently asleep, holding, carefully holding someone close to him was never become. All For One knew that this boy was currently asleep. Carefully holding someone close to him would never become a villain. No, this child simply wanted to help. He wasn't even sure if he would make this boy a villain. Midoriya Izuku reminded him of the idea he had long ago when his brother was still alive. The idea of doing something about the hate towards the others who had quirks when it was still rare. It was an innocent idea he had, but one that grew darker as years progressed. Now there, now there Midoriya was, having faced hate and discrimination simply because he did not have a quirk. It's ironic how twisted things became. All for one would have to thank All Might for passing down his quirk through Midoriya. To Midoriya, though, because surely, if he had not, he wouldn't have become aware of the child. Like before, All for One knew Midoriya had not been lying when he said he would have been dead if it were not for him suddenly getting a quirk. He thought about how he would have never heard the boy's detailed and often frequent anal- analyst analyst or see Tamura so calm with other people. He would have never seen that at all if Midoriya never received All for One. One for all. No, that boy would be dead. The thought, the possibility of that happening bothered him. It would have been an absolute waste, he thought. The potential that hmm, that possibility made him want to do something. It was rekindled the and rekindled an anger or frustration from long ago. But of course he couldn't do that now. Hasty decisions made based on emotions were not his style. At least that's what he thought. So he remained seated and continued to listen. Here he was curious to how his student, Homura, would continue. With if this piece of information, this boy, would affect his future actions. And if it did, Offerwood found that he didn't feel opposed to that. Gray mist surrounded him again. Izuku was happy to see the figures once more. At a moment at the moment that he had to notice him, it gave him some time to think about what just happened. He told the league he was quirkless, and they well, and they were just concerned about him. None of them got upset. The only one, um, the only one upset at how he was treated. Oh, well, only upset about how he was treated. When Toga had hugged him, they fell asleep. And now he thought it would, what would, oh my god. Now, what he thought would have happened once he revealed his corpus status was to be kicked out, to be hated, because that's how it always was when he was little. But there he was, asleep, with what probably Toga still in his arm, on the comfortable couch. It was nice. The feeling carried onto the gray that surrounded him. Izuku got up from his seated position on the ground, and looked around. There really was nothing else other than a few different color figures. From what he could see, he wondered what they did when he wasn't there. He wondered who they were. He wondered why they mentioned numbers 8 and 9. That was what he had heard. The woman with a with the beauty mark called him Ninth. Ninth of what? Wait. Misuki wanted to laugh at how obvious the answer was. He was the ninth holder of all One for All. He looked at the 8 figures. He saw each a different color. It reminded how it reminded how All Might told him that he would be the ninth person to have big work. Eight past holder of One for All. One for All was a stockpiling clerk, a clerk that seemed, from the looks of it, seemed to have 8 ghosts. With that realization, Izuku laughed. The sound of his laugh rang out, startling the others, who turned and looked at him. Izuku laughed even more, seeing that he had a mouth and could speak. No misty parts it had seen. Slowly the figures came forth. They seemed clearer before. This time, though, the purple figure came close, while the woman with the beauty marks stayed behind with a smile on her face. The purple figure looked the look of it. Right. The purple figure, from the looks of it, was a woman. Izuku could see one of her eyes, while the other was covered. The other eye looked amused. She didn't say anything, and simply held out a hand towards him. Not seeing any reasons to refuse the hand, Izuku placed his own in her palm. When he did, the woman was quick to get a better grip on his hand and pulled him forward. Grabbing his other, the next thing he knew, they were spinning. He looked at the woman and he just smiled, which he couldn't help. Oh, when he looked at the woman, he saw a smile. He couldn't help but return. She let go of one hand, spun him around with the other. And the action made him laugh again as he spun around once more. Ah, oh my god, tongue twisters. It was a dance that continued and kept a smile on Izuku's face. A dance that made his laugh ring out whenever the purple figure did a new move. When she pulled him close and dipped him, his giggle made a small floating light appear. And he could have sworn he heard a soft laugh come from the woman, who continued to dance with him. Around and around they went. The others simply watched, seeming content to let them make the great mist place their stage for dancing that only the two of them knew. Izuka moved easy with the figure, unlike the awkward dancing when between partners he had seen in the past. He seemed to be in perfect harmony with his partner. Catching their eye, oh, catching their eye, the feeling was understand coming from them. It was a deep feeling of understanding that made him think of his red shoes that he was wearing. As he twirled around, somehow not tripping over his own feet, he thought about how had he just revealed to Lee. Sparing glances at the other figures, he could not feel the same feeling. The feeling only came back when he looked at into the one eye. The one eye that was visible of his dancing partner. Then, when a certain question popped in his head, he saw the woman who was graceful on her feet smiled. Then a way that made more light appear. At the moment, she became as clear as a woman with the beauty mark was, and she laughed as once again she spun Ezekiel around. Then he woke up. He woke up. When he woke up, it was to find the lights were out and Toga was nuzzled under his head. Apparently, she was very comfortable on him. While he could feel a tingling sensation in his limb, it was a telltale sign of that something has been on top of them for too long. Carefully, he extracted himself from Toga, making sure her head softly on the cushion, and that she wasn't in a weird, uncomfortable position. Once up and off the couch, he stretched his legs and tried to shake off the static feeling sensation in his feet. When he did, he saw the others were still out, though, asleep. Dobby was in the seat basically on his own. Twice was in a booth, while Spinner in another. Shigaraki fell asleep on the other end of the couch, while Magne the was on the other end of it. Compress seemed to be comfortable in the other seat, using the ottoman to prop up his feet. He spun several moments just looking at them. They were concerned after hearing the information you shared. A voice was loud enough to get Izuku's attention, but not to disturb any of the sleeping individuals. When he when Izuku looked, he saw Kirigiri behind the bar as usual. The man seemed as wide awake, or at least looked like it. Oh, oh, Izuku whispered. Kirigiri looked at him for a moment before beckoning him over to come to the bar, which Izuku did. While he made his way, he found that he felt lighter on his feet. Unnaturally so. Are you alright? Are you alright, Midoriya? Kirigiri asked, making making Izuku realize he was staring at his feet for a while. Yeah, just thinking of something, he said as he took a seat at the bar counter. That something being dancing, Izuku found himself saying, despite how odd it was true. He was thinking about dancing, more specifically the dance with the purple woman that seemed that that seemed as natural as walking. Dancing? Kirigiri repeated questioningly. Hmm. Izuku really couldn't explain, so he just continued. Mm-hmm. I wonder I was wondering about what reason there could be if you were dancing with someone and it seemed natural and you don't mess up. Well, Kirigiri put down the glass he was cleaning. That can happen if the person leading is very experienced and a very adamant at leading a novice dancer, or the two having experience dancing and dancing with each other. He had thought back how the purple woman seemed to lead him, and he remembered that there were a few moments that he took the lead, and not once did the two of them lose their rhythm. Izuku never danced before, much less with somebody else. Yes, it was possible that he was just good at dancing in the misty place, but it didn't explain the lightness he felt when he walked, or why he felt that if he danced with somebody right now, he would be able to do so as he had done with the purple woman. He looked at Kirigiri. Should I ask him to dance to test his theory? Izuku shook his head at the thought. No, that would be ridiculous. As Izuku tried to think of a way to test this new dancing theory, he missed the look Kirigiri was giving him, along with a confused yet concerned look. Kirigiri simply wondered why in the earth was the boy thinking of dancing after having revealed what he did earlier. Once again, he felt a bitterly fondly. What a confusing child. Um, I don't know. A woman. I know that, you know, and one for all, like, all I know, all of them are men except the one, which is Nana, that I know of. So I'm confused. Who's this other purple woman? Unless it's like him mistakenly thinking the only other one that I assume purple as a woman. Unless the author changed the gender of the person. That could happen. Hold on. I don't know. We're not figuring this out right now. You know what? Hold on. I'm confused. Not confused, confused. I want to know who this purple woman is. Maybe we'll find out in another chapter, but give me a break. I know there's Nana. Honestly, she is one of my favorites, honestly. Uh, I said like the cover. So the only one I can think of would be All for One's brother. Not All for One. One. No, not it. All for One's brother, who usually has his eye covered, but his figure is not purple. Who could this be? Like, I can't look. I cannot remember all of them. I know some of their names. I know most of their names. It's just I don't. I haven't seen their names in a minute. But I know like there's One's brother. I believe it starts with a Y. Can't really say for sure. But there's Nana. I know Nana for sure because Nana and then. Well, I'm looking at a purple figure currently right now. Oh, here's a better one. Wait. Okay, so there's two figures I don't know about. I know there's nine. Not nine. Well, there's nine successors, but who are these other two? Why can I not find an updated picture? Whatever. Um, I don't know. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this chapter, and because I sure did. Dancing, you know. I don't know. I mean, if he practiced dancing, it could help him with what's it called? Being a hero because the movement and everything. But I don't know. I enjoyed this chapter. I hope y'all did too. And I will see y'all next time. Make sure you eat, sleep, and get some water. it's been hot lately. Well, maybe not hot, but it's been warm. For me, like, for me today. Oh, wait, scratch that. um, so, for me today, right now it is currently 8:13 for me. It's 80 degrees, but outside apparently it feels like 87. And the highest day it's supposed to get is 89. But we don't know what it's gonna feel like when it happens. But so it's been hot where I'm at. I think of last weekend was, if I'm thinking right, it was maybe 90 something. Okay weather. Rather be swimming in that type of weather. But like the what it was supposed to feel like outside was 106. No, thank you. This is why I like staying inside. But anyways, I hope you have a very good day and hope y'all enjoyed.